So the next question is about advice for somebody who has a daughter who is living in the US. Basically, this person is about my daughter's age, if I recall. So let's use a teenager. I know that. What advice could they give their young daughter to survive and thrive in this new world order that's upon us? She's thinking that the advice would be different for a boy or a girl, but like still, what ideas do you have?
I think it's a lot tougher having a daughter than a son for lots of different reasons. And I think the best thing that you can do is to try to get your daughter to be as close as she can be to, let's say, a Laura Croft, but with a moral foundation. She should be able to do everything and know everything and think everything and experience everything that she can, so that when she goes out into the world, there's no guarantee that the first arrow that flies at her won't put her down and it's all for naught. But you got to tilt the odds in her favor. So that's what you got to do. You've got to help her gird up her loins to do battle in this dangerous world that you're going to send her out to.
Yeah, the thing is, it's dangerous for them now. It used to be that while they were growing up, it was somewhat protected. But if they're engaged in government schools or whatever, if they're using the technology that everyone uses, then they're actually under assault the whole time. That's why we see people questioning their gender, like kids doing this in a crazy way. They're just they're being psyoped big time. So they need some offense against that.
And the other young chimpanzees that she's hanging out with are almost all going to be bad influences for just that reason. So maybe the best thing you can do is to watch that movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and to put her in an environment where she's brought up like the Arnold character was.
Yeah. Might be best. It's such a problem. I think about this all the time with my daughter. And I think the best thing you could do is you want to give them some sense of something that's bigger than all the stuff that's happening around them as a reference point. I think if they were religious, and I know you're not, but it would be helpful, because when they're under assault with all of these other things that are happening, if they actually believe that there's something that's bigger than them and bigger than their friends and bigger than the friend relationships that they have, then they can use that as a reference point at least. It doesn't have to be religion, obviously. Maybe it's the family, or maybe it's just ethics. But if you believe in good, then when they see things that aren't good, they'll be better equipped to be able to reject it. Because I think that's the problem now, is that things are being presented to young people in a very confusing way, and they're very inclined to mirror everyone around them. So they're weak. If they have something to combat that, some ideal to combat that with, I think they're best off. But if they're already a teenager like my daughter is, I almost think it's too late at that point to introduce it. It's just too late.
Yeah, and there's no question that there's much more in the way of outside, mostly negative influences that are constantly shoved at kids today. This is a big difference. It was hard. It's never been easy, but it's much harder now.
Yeah, I think so.